Dr. Linda Palter. I'm a chiropractor in Muskegon. My office is at 857 West Summit, which is behind Brooklyn Bagels and in front of Tan and Tone. Of course, I'm a chiropractor, and like all chiropractors, we're very good at treating neck and back pain. We're good at treating most musculoskeletal issues, in headaches, etc. In addition to regular chiropractic, I do a couple of specialized techniques. Sort of the mama technique that I do is called NAET, which stands for Nambudripad's Allergy Elimination Technique. Dr. Nambudripad was trained in both chiropractic and acupuncture, and her technique uses principles from both of these fields plus what she added in. The basic idea is while the patient is holding something that they're sensitive to, an allergen, I'm a chiropractor, not an acupuncturist, so I don't use acupuncture needles. I use a very low power laser to do what acupuncture needles do, which is stimulate normal energy movement in the body. So I'll have the patient hold an allergen, and I'll use the laser to stimulate acupuncture meridians, get energy moving normally. And what this does is it tells the nervous system, you can be normal regarding the item in the patient's hand. And in most cases, it takes one treatment to eliminate an allergic response to something. I occasionally need to repeat treatments, but that's the exception, not the rule. So NAET works very well for food sensitivities, for seasonal allergies like hay fever, for pet allergies, and even for multiple chemical sensitivities. Now, some of the doctors that Dr. Nambudripad trained in her technique added their own applications and protocols to her basic idea and put their own initials on it, and I do some of those daughter techniques too. I do a technique called JMT, which is the initials of the doctors who developed it, Jaffe-Meller technique. And what Doctors Jaffe and Meller said was, an allergy is when your immune system mistakes something that's actually harmless for something harmful and attacks it. An autoimmune disorder is when your immune system mistakes your own tissues for something harmful and attacks them. So it's the same kind of mistake, so it should respond to the same kind of treatment. And it does very well. So the problems that JMT addresses most successfully are arthritis, which is an autoimmune disorder where your own immune system is attacking your joint tissues. GI autoimmune disorders like irritable bowel or Crohn's disease. Things like fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue respond very well to JMT. And the other thing that I see a lot of is that the textbooks will tell you that in children, behavior, mood changes, problems are often allergy symptoms. And I think that adults also experience behavior and emotional problems with allergies. It's just that they're better at controlling it and hiding it so you don't see it as easily. But things like ADD or ADHD often respond very well to clearing up the allergens that the children are exposed to. I love my practice because when I get one member of the family feeling well, I usually get to see the rest of their family and their friends. I get a lot of referrals. Chiropractors always say if you're good at shoulders, you'll see a lot of shoulders because someone will complain, your patient will say, I know just the person for it. So I get a lot of referrals. And I get a lot of people who have been through the mill with the medical profession because the sorts of things that respond well to what I do are also the sorts of things that MDs don't have really good tools for. Things like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, irritable bowel. These are problems patients for MDs because they don't have tools that are really good for them. So a lot of my patients come in with a long list of doctors they've already seen, and I appreciate that they've had the tests and that people have used good medical diagnostics, and then I get to use tools that they haven't had before. I use it, of course you rely a lot on a medical history, any doctor does. But I also use a diagnostic tool that some chiropractors use, some don't. Most patients know it as muscle testing. Muscle testing looks a little weird if you haven't seen it before, but it works reasonably well. And the idea behind muscle testing is just that your nervous system communicates with your body like that. If you're sitting in a room and you're relaxed and calm and someone comes in and they tell you they just rear-ended your car outside, just hearing those words will cause changes in your body. Muscle testing uses that good communication pathway. So if I give a patient an allergen to hold, or if I do something else to irritate a patient, if I put my finger on an organ that's not functioning right, or if there's a joint a little bit out of place and I push it just a little bit more out of place, I can see that irritation reflected in a momentary change in muscle tone. So it's an easy, non-invasive way for me to locate irritants, to see before and after tests to make sure I got a change. There are certain things that are so common in the modern world. For example, there are many, the gut ecosystem is a very big issue for everybody because of things like diet and other environmental factors. As you know, your digestive system should contain many billions and billions of bacteria that you're completely dependent on to digest your food for you. You require them to be healthy. Many aspects of modern life, including but not limited to medicines, especially antibiotics, food additives, especially preservatives. If you think about it for a second, a preservative is a chemical that makes food inedible to bacteria. Then you eat it and require your bacteria to digest it. So processed foods with preservatives, probably even environmental toxins and stress, all work to kill off the belly bacteria that you need. At the same time, many things in modern life selectively feed yeast in your gut. When your gut is healthy, when everything's perfect, you have a complex ecosystem in there. And that ecosystem should be about 80% assorted bacteria species, many species, and assorted yeast species. While you're killing off bacteria all the time, you're selectively feeding yeast, because yeast's favorite food are sugar and refined flour, which is a very large part of everybody's diet. So we're killing off our bacteria, we're feeding yeast, and we throw that 80%, 20% balance way out. When it gets thrown out badly enough, the yeast actually change form and burrow through the walls of your intestines and can invade the rest of your body. They can go anywhere in your body, because when your white blood cells, your immune system, bump into these yeast, they go, I know you, you live here, you're one of my friends. And your immune system isn't very geared up to fight this off. The yeast are called Candida. Systemic Candida is an extremely widespread problem. It can cause a slew of symptoms, and you see it everywhere because of how we've altered foods, because of what we've done to foods. Environmental toxins are a huge issue. We're doing this massive experiment with genetically modified food, where we're feeding genetically modified foods to everybody while very carefully not telling anyone what foods they're eating that have been altered, so that when there are medical complications and effects, we won't be able to trace them. We won't know, because we're not watching, we're not looking. Environmental toxins, you know, babies are exposed to 280 something poisons in utero before they're born. It's a very long list. It goes on and on. I feel we're doing a lot to keep making people sicker and sicker and keep making my job more challenging.
For 13 years, Jewett Heating and Cooling has been providing the West Michigan area with fast, professional service and installation. A paying dealer, they specialize in the service of all makes and models of furnaces and air conditioners, both residential and light commercial. With over 35 years of experience, Jewett is fully licensed with the EPA for lead removal. Jewett Heating and Cooling, your family-owned and operated heating and cooling specialist. 231-788-4287. Specializing in paint furnaces and air conditioning. Since 1980, Winston Speedway has been bringing the very best of West Michigan dirt track racing to the lakeshore. Late models, modifieds, street stocks, bombers, factory stocks, mini stocks, warriors, and young guns featuring 12 to 16-year-old drivers. Between races, you can visit Winston Speedway's souvenir stand, where you'll find favorite t-shirts, hats, and racing memorabilia. Or you can stop into their snack shack for pulled pork sandwiches, burgers, cheeseburgers, Polish dogs, hot dogs, walking tacos, french fries, as well as hot and cold beverages. Winston Speedway every Saturday night. Pits open at 3:30, grandstands at 4:30, hot laps at 5:30, and racing begins at 7. For more information, call Winston Speedway at 231-893-3023.
If a parent calls me up and asks if I can help with their child's problems, and the problems that I'll see kids for are often clearly allergies or behavior. I'll ask if it's behavior. If it's allergies, it's straightforward. Of course I can help with allergies. That's one of the things I specialize in. If a parent calls up and says, can you help with attention deficit disorder? I'll say, do you ever see a correlation between things your child eats or is exposed to and their behavior? If you can tell me, yeah, after artificial colors I see a change in behavior, or after a lot of sugar or whatever, then yeah, probably what I do will help. I have had parents call me up and say that their otherwise healthy, normal child seemed to develop autistic symptoms after vaccines, and I have sometimes helped with that issue too. Breastfeeding, wow. There's a difference between baby cows and baby people. Cow milk's the perfect food for baby cows who have to put on a lot of fat and body mass very, very quickly. It's not as perfect a food for baby people. Probably most of you have heard of, even though you might not remember exactly, the term colostrum. When a baby is born, for the first 48 hours, the milk that a mother produces isn't actually milk. It's this other thing called colostrum. Colostrum is composed of two things. It's composed of immune system cells, because a brand new born baby doesn't have an immune system yet. And it's composed of things which, in a newborn baby whose body is full of growth hormone, triggers that growth hormone, triggers the body to grow. So colostrum is, humans are unusual. Humans can actually survive even if they don't have a couple of days of colostrum. Most mammals die if they don't get their mother's colostrum. We don't die, but it makes a difference. I strongly, strongly recommend breastfeeding, if at all possible, is the healthiest way to start off a child. Also, our foods have been, it's the processed food issue again. We have to be careful about how early we introduce newborn babies to solid foods, because those foods in themselves are more challenging than they should be. So breastfeeding for 6 months is a very, very good way to start, and then be careful about how you introduce foods. A baby learns what food is during the first year to year and a half of its life. When it's starting to eat, the foods it eats first is what it will know food is for the rest of its life. So I cannot strongly enough emphasize that little babies, when they start to eat, should be given fruits and vegetables and real meat, and they should not be given fast food, because you want that child to recognize real food. The reason why we have a generation of very picky eaters is because they learn what the wrong things are to eat from the very beginning. Now, one of the things that I really appreciated in chiropractic school when I was trained was the attitude that all women of childbearing age have to be treated as if pregnant until proven otherwise. The main reason for that for a chiropractor is because chiropractors often shoot x-rays. But this is a little bit hard to explain, but I hope you can get it. A developing baby starts off at first as one single cell, and that cell divides in two. So anything that happened to that one cell will be copied every time thereafter. And then those two cells divide to 4, and then to 8, and then to 16. So the things that a baby is exposed to the earliest get copied the most ever after. So when a baby is 1 or 2 or 8 or 16 or 32 or 64 cells big, mamas don't know they're pregnant yet. But if you're a sexually active woman who might become pregnant, those very, very first days are the most important. So if there's any chance that you're thinking about becoming pregnant, that's when you should stop smoking and stop drinking alcohol. Now, if you go find out that you're pregnant and it's been a month or a month and a half, and that baby's done some growing, you still, and didn't know and you didn't prepare, you still want to quit smoking and quit drinking and eat healthy food. Everything that goes into your body goes to that baby, and a developing baby isn't a little miniature human. It's developing, it's growing. So any assault to those tissues does get replicated into its body. Diet is a big issue for everybody. People are getting bigger and fatter and sicker because we have bad diets. It's difficult for a couple of reasons. We have very inexpensive calories, refined calories available very easily. We have added extra salt and extra sugar and extra MSG to everything to make you crave to eat more than you should eat. That's one side of the story. So getting too many calories is effortless. The other side of the story is that we're inactive. You get in your car, you drive to work, and then you sit. And then when you're done sitting, you go back and sit in your car and drive home, where you probably sit. Most Americans now are about as active as someone who would be considered a crippled invalid at past times in history. Our bodies were designed to be much, much more active, to move a lot. In other words, to burn a lot more calories. So our bodies are designed to be able to take in enough calories for a very active lifestyle, which we don't have. So we need a lot less than our bodies think we need, and we put in a lot more than we need. If I were to make easy suggestions for healthier eating, by far the #1 suggestion is avoid hydrogenated fats. That's the fats that margarine is made out of. That's not an actual food. That's a food that your body can't metabolize. It's the most toxic thing that we do. That would be the biggest thing. So you look on the labels for hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated fats, and you just put those items back. Probably my next recommendation for healthy eating is to avoid things that say light, L-I-T-E in the title, or low fat, or diet, because what they do is they take out some of the fats from the food, they probably replace them with sugars, they reduce the overall nutritional value of the food, and they actually don't help you lose weight, because they make you, those foods in general are the kinds of things that help trigger making you want to eat more. So eat real food. Of all the food additives, and there are millions, well, no, there are thousands, aspartame or NutraSweet has the most FDA complaints of headaches and nervous system disorders. It's a neurotoxin. It's a really bad drug. All the artificial sweeteners have the problem that I mentioned before, which is that they're triggering that desire for sweetness. It's a real indication of how bad our food system is that foods containing sugar are now, relatively speaking, healthy because their alternatives are so dreadful. So back to a healthy diet, refined flour and refined sugar are two things which do not exist in nature. Our bodies were not designed to eat them. They're harmful. So when I talk to patients and they tell me about their diet, what they do is what everybody does, which is everybody defines normal as what most people do. So people look at their diet and they say, I have a pretty good diet, because they know people who eat worse. Or I have an average diet, because they know people who eat better and people who eat worse. But the average diet is very far from what our bodies were designed to eat. Our bodies are healthy on mostly fruits and vegetables, and some protein, some meat. I think there are many valid arguments to support a vegetarian diet. I'm not a vegetarian because I like eating too much. But if a patient comes in and tells me they're vegetarian or asks me if I think they could be, I think the evidence is very good that you can be very healthy on a vegetarian diet. And there are other arguments like our bad animal farming practices. But I don't think that you're going to damage yourself if you eat protein, if you eat meat and fish and eggs and cheese, in moderation. We tend to eat too much in the American diet. There's a great book, The Omnivore's Dilemma, and in the beginning of the book, the author describes something that he did. He wanted to play a prank on a coworker. So as a practical joke, he bought a McDonald's hamburger and hid it behind some books on his coworker's bookcase, thinking that in a week there'll be this nasty smell and his coworker won't be able to figure out where it's coming from. Well, 3 years later, the coworker moved out of that office, and in the course of packing his books, they found the hamburger, and they unwrapped it, and in 3 years, it was completely unchanged. It looked and smelled like the day it was bought. This was so repulsive to me, so stomach-turning, that I had to do the experiment to find out if it was true. So I bought a McDonald's burger and a Wendy's burger and a Burger King burger, and I put them on my kitchen counter. I could only stand doing it for 2 weeks, because in 2 weeks, meat, if it's healthy food, if it's real food, should get really disgusting. After maybe it was 3 weeks, all three of them looked and smelled exactly like the day I bought them. That did more for me to eliminate eating fast food than anything else I had ever read or seen.
Family-owned and operated, White Lake Nursery has been a full-service power equipment lawn and garden dealer since 1953. Snowblowers, lawn mowers, rototillers, chainsaws, trimmers, and hedge snips. They feature name brands such as Snapper, Toro, Simplicity, and Steel. In addition to all types of landscaping, White Lake Nursery specializes in underground irrigation service and installation. From startup in the spring to winterization in the fall, White Lake Nursery, 1311 East Colby Street in Whitehall.
Lakeshore Natural Health 5294 Grand Haven Road in the Point Shopping Center features a certified holistic health practitioner. They carry high-quality supplements, wheat-free, gluten-free products, as well as organic produce and groceries. 5294 Grand Haven Road in the Point Shopping Center.
Whether you're a first-time jewelry browser looking for an extraordinary engagement ring, a couple celebrating your 60th anniversary, or you're just looking to treat yourself or mark an important event, Prothheim & Swanson Gemworks is proud to offer custom-made selections handcrafted in America. Silver, fine-colored gems, diamonds, and gold jewelry, as well as strands of lustrous quality pearls. From ring and watch appraisals to in-house jewelry design and repair, ring sizing, remounting, to a complete rebuilding, you can rely on them to keep your old favorites looking new. K&S Gemworks, Muskegon's community jeweler. Memories made one at a time.
Roll, tumble, jump, and dance with the stars here at Castle Dance and Gymnastics. From 16 months to adults,
Castle offers a safe and friendly atmosphere. Located at 1180 Devon Drive, their number is 231-798-8418. Or find them at castlegymdance.com.
When you're active, your muscles need to burn food for energy. If you ask them to do a lot of work, they need a lot of food for energy. And so normally your body, in your cells, your sugar is delivered to your cells, and your cells burn the sugar, and they burn the sugar all the way down to carbon dioxide that you exhale. That's what's left over from burning sugar for energy. And they get a lot of energy in that process. But if you're using your muscles a lot, they don't have time for that. So they use a shortcut. They do a shortcut pathway where they don't get quite as much sugar out, but they can do it more efficiently. But instead of going all the way to carbon dioxide, the leftover is lactic acid. That lactic acid kind of accumulates in your muscles. It takes a little while for it to get pumped out. That's what the ache and the pain is the next day after you've used your muscles more than they're used to being used. You can reduce that lactic acid buildup. Actually, a great way to do it is by massage. By massage right after exercise, you can flush the lactic acid right out. If you notice that's a problem, if your muscles ache a lot after you use them, your cellular engines might not be working as well as they could. And in that case, I recommend a supplement, coenzyme Q10, which is part of the metabolic pathway used to burn sugar all the way down to carbon dioxide. CoQ10 is a supplement, often helps with that. Okay, so how do you keep your body healthiest and most able to maintain itself and most able to benefit and not get harmed from use and exercise? There's a couple answers. The first thing that comes to mind is the research in the last 5 to 10 years that has been done on vitamin D is completely remarkable. We have recently learned that we need vitamin D a lot more than we thought in our bodies, and we're deficient in vitamin D to a mind-boggling degree. So our old understanding of vitamin D was that you need vitamin D for strong bones and teeth. And vitamin D is the vitamin you don't have to eat. Your body makes it, your skin makes it when it's exposed to direct sunlight. Well, now we spend all of our time indoors, and when we go outdoors, we wear sunscreen. Sunscreen blocks the formation of vitamin D 100%. So the deficiency is so severe that in recent years, when they've done research to see what problems vitamin D supplements help, you see scientists using words they never ever use. They say vitamin D reduces mortality from all causes 35%, no matter what they look at, which is a reflection of how severely deficient we are. So one of the best things you can do to maintain the health of bones, skin, connective tissue, your immune system, your reproductive system, your nervous system, is to take a vitamin D supplement. 2,000 IUs to 4,000 IUs a day, especially and definitely and absolutely in the winter. Because even if you work outside in the winter here at this latitude, you can't get enough sunlight to make vitamin D. So that's a very, very important thing you can do for yourself. Probably the next best thing you can do for yourself is yoga. Yoga is the best all-around stretching, strengthening program I have found. When patients ask me if I recommend yoga, I tell them chiropractic is for people who don't do yoga. More people come in and tell me I carry my stress in my shoulders than any other single complaint. People today spend a lot of time hunched over computers. When you're hunched over a computer, you're like this. Nobody sits at a computer terminal in any other posture. Computers will do more to keep chiropractors employed than car accidents. They're very, very hard on your body. They throw your muscles way out of balance. So to correct that, what chiropractors are good at is restoring motion to joints that aren't moving normally. What the patient has to be able to help with is getting the muscles back in balance that have been thrown out of balance. So chiropractors are more likely than other practitioners probably to give you homework, to give you exercises to do, because I can release the joints and then you're going to go back and sit in front of your computer again. So you can keep coming to see me endlessly, or you can do the homework and get your muscles in shape and in balance. The other way that chiropractic is prevention is largely through nutrition, and I recommend supplements. Probably the thing that I recommend to people the most after adjusting people's spines, probably what I do the most is recommend digestive enzymes as a supplement. People lead very stressful lives now. Everybody's heard of the fight-flight response. Everybody knows that when you're under stress, there are physiological changes. Your heart rate increases, your blood pressure goes up. Part of that fight-flight response is your stomach turns off. Your body says, I don't have time for digestion now. I'll get to it later when things calm down. But you're worried about your job, you're worried about your boss, you have family issues, you have money issues. You don't calm down. And so most people are eating without their stomach producing the enzymes and digestive acid that they need. This is the beginning, the entry point for a lot of musculoskeletal and physical, general physical health issues that I see people for. So taking digestive enzymes will help keep you out of my office and help keep you a lot healthier. In this office at Healing Ground, I work with four massage therapists. Massage is a very, very good therapy. It helps relax muscles, it helps pump the lactic acid out, it helps stimulate lymph and blood flow. It is, of course, relaxing, and stress is an issue, it helps with that. And the massage therapists are great because when you go in for a massage, the massage therapist can spend an hour working on your muscles, which is something that I can't do as a chiropractor. And we also have a boutique in the office. We have a boutique that sells made in America clothes. We have work by local Michigan and Muskegon artists. And we have things that are like fair trade and organic local products. We want to promote and stimulate a healthy lifestyle in more ways than just musculoskeletal. There are some things I completely love about my job. One of the things I love about my job is that nothing that I do, especially to children, has to hurt or taste bad. So my kid patients are very happy and very relaxed when they're in here because what I do tickles a little bit sometimes, but it doesn't hurt at all. So that's really nice. I do see families. I do tend to help one person in the family feel better, and then I get to see that family and those people's friends, which is terrific. It's the best way to have a business.
So as a healer, is part of your mission to help people get on a track where they use their life force to their advantage rather than fighting against it?
Yes, of course what all chiropractors hope and want for, and what we consider the ideal patient is the person who comes in interested in taking responsibility for their own health, which means, for most Americans, means making the effort to avoid refined sugars and refined flours and hydrogenated fats, and making an effort not to smoke or drink in excess, and making an effort to move their bodies and exercise. Those people get the most benefit from my work because I'm not always fighting re-injuries and reattacks to the body. When patients come in and they aren't taking responsibility for their health, I'm not going to be able to get results that last and hold as long. When I have patients come in who have had a great deal of surgery already, there's only so much repair I can do. The basic premise of chiropractic is that the body does the healing. Bodies are self-healing organisms. The chiropractor's job is just to remove barriers to healing. That barrier can be musculoskeletal. If vertebrae are a little bit out of alignment, they can impinge on the brain's ability to communicate with the body and the body's ability to communicate with the brain by impinging on nerves. And so my job is to correct that barrier so that the body's normal communication system works better and the body can do its own job of maintaining its health. The barrier to healing can be nutritional. It can be not taking in what the body needs to be healthy or taking in toxins that damage the body. It can be emotional. Stress can prevent the body from doing its normal functioning. inactivity is a stress. It's a form of stress on the body. So certainly, the more I can encourage and coax people to support what I do, the better results I get. The research shows very strongly that chiropractic patients get less surgery and spend less time in hospitals and less time out of work from the same complaints. For example, if we're looking at people with low back pain, people who see chiropractors miss less work and get less surgery than people who don't. So chiropractic in that way helps prevent excess surgery and drugs. And the other sort of rule of thumb that I always encourage people to do is always try the less invasive procedure first. If you're in pain, try something non-invasive, chiropractic or acupuncture or nutrition. Because if you can fix it without going to drugs or surgery, you have that much less risk and that much less side effects. If the non-invasive approach doesn't work, then you have to try something more invasive. You may have to try drugs, which is more invasive than what I do, but less invasive than surgery. If the drugs and medicine don't work, then maybe you need surgery. So what that also means, though, is that medical doctors also are aware that there are risks and drawbacks to drugs and surgery. So they don't want to use them unless they really need to. So you'll go to a medical doctor, for example, and the medical doctor will look at your blood profile and he'll take your blood pressure and he'll say, your cholesterol's getting kind of high. It's not so high that I want to give you a drug because the drug has side effects. It's not so high I want to give you the drug yet, but we're going to keep an eye on it. And when it gets high enough, I'm going to give you a drug because that's his tool. That's the tool he has for cholesterol. So for a medical doctor, that not so bad zone is the hard zone to deal with because you don't want to use drugs or surgery there. That's the zone that alternative approaches like chiropractic is the most effective because that not so bad zone is where your body can still respond well to nutritional supplements, for example. So that's kind of good. The things that I'm best at are the things that drugs and surgery are often least appropriate for. If you come in and your knee is causing you pain, but the knee doctor says, it doesn't look so bad on x-ray, I can't really do surgery on it, that's the zone where I can usually help the most. The things that chiropractors in general are very, very good at helping with are low back pain, neck pain, headaches, of course. So if you're very active, if you use your body hard, you're in construction, you know that your body's getting a lot of wear and tear, you're a very good candidate for chiropractic help because we help normalize and correct the imbalances that you might be causing. Likewise, if you're very inactive, if you have a desk job, and like I said before, most especially if you're sitting in front of a computer all day, you're a very good candidate for chiropractic help because for your hands to have the fine motor control that they need to work a mouse or to type, these muscles stay contracted all the time. And that's where you get repetitive use injury. That's the cause of carpal tunnel, not big movements. That's easier for your body to deal with. So people who are too inactive are very good candidates for chiropractic. The specialties that I mentioned for me, people who have digestive problems, who have environmental sensitivity issues, arthritis, all respond very, very well to chiropractic. If people are saying to you, you might have to consider surgery for any issue, you might want to look into less invasive procedures because, like I said, you can always go from less invasive to more invasive, but you can't always back up. Once you've had back surgery, those surgered segments are locked in place, they're fixated, and you can't undo that step. So I encourage people to look at less invasive procedures first. That could be chiropractic, it could be acupuncture, massage, it could be, there's quite a few good alternative therapies that are a good place to start. My office is in Muskegon. We're a quarter block west of Henry Street on Summit, 857 West Summit. The office is called Healing Ground. And if you want to come in for an appointment, consultation, The number is 755-3832. That's 231. I'm here weekdays. And chiropractic's very affordable. Many insurance plans will cover chiropractic. If you're not sure if your insurance covers, just call your personnel people or the insurance company. And if it doesn't, we make sure that we keep our rates affordable. And in most cases, we're very affordable compared to conventional medicine. I have a website, drlindapalter.com, and I have a blog, drlindapalter.blog, I think, but you can connect to it at the website.
Good news, we just got the Stevens account. Get Jacobs on the horn and schedule a meeting pronto. Order lunch, something fast, Smith.
It's Jones, ma'am.
Yeah, look, we'll leverage a synergy on both sides.
Hi, Jimmy Jones?
Yeah, no, look, the boys...
Jimmy Jones.
Yep, sky's the limit on this one. Make sure the Silverman file is on my desk ASAP. Did you order lunch?
Yeah, it's waiting for you.
Better be, Smith.
Still Jones, ma'am.
Can't wait on this. Time is money.
Jimmy Jones.
Jimmy Jones, order online now.
Nice job, Jones.
Jimmy John's, freaky fast delivery.
Serving the Fruitport area for over 40 years, Grover Pharmacy offers a full line of vitamins, supplements, and homeopathic medicines, as well as a variety of glucometers, blood pressure kits, baby care items, bandages, and wound care products. They carry office and school supplies, Russell Stover candies, promotional and seasonal items, and Hallmark cards and gifts. Grover Pharmacy, they take time to care about you.
Muskegon's Hackley Public Library is an excellent source for help, information, and great entertainment on virtually any topic. The friendly, knowledgeable staff is always available to help you with finding information on any topic you need. They can help you with using the free public access computers, and they look forward to showing you books, audio CDs, DVDs, and much more. Whether you live in the city or outside, the Hackley Public Library in downtown Muskegon is there to help with everything imaginable.
Which would you rather do, this or this? We thought so. For the jobs nobody likes to do, Batka's cleaning service.